unlike my sisters who grew up in the city, I grew up in my grandma's farm. And she was just like me, a total tomboy who couldn't give two craps about any of the frilly, girly stuff. While most girls my age played with Barbies and toy castles, I wrangled piglets and tended to chickens. I took tractor rides beside my grandpa and went fishing with my dad. I played football in the fields with the neighborhood farm boys. I always got muddy and dirty at the end of the day. But like Grandma always said, a little mud never hurt a girl. It did hurt me, though, a few times, but only because my mom was a stickler for what she called young lady etiquette. She wanted me to always be prim, proper, and immaculately clean. And after a day of chasing ducks and cuddling with bunnies, I was never any of those. Whenever my family would come visit the farm on the weekends, I always had some or other stain on my overalls. It always drove my mom insane. Heavens! Why are you never wearing a dress, child? And your overalls are muddy, and is that blood? I can't move around in the dresses you always send me, Mom. And it's just paint. Grandpa Bill and I spent all morning painting the barn. My mom made it out as if she was about to faint. Oh, dear, my daughter painting a building. Whatever shall we do with you? And stop spitting on the ground. So uncouth. For each wrong thing she found about my appearance or clothing, she would spank me and yell at me. There was never a weekend when I could look forward to doing fun things with my grandparents. Mom always fussed about me. And that's why I always loved Sunday evenings, because that's when Mom and my bratty sisters who always complained about insects and the Wi-Fi were going back to the city. But that Sunday, everything changed. My mom demanded I stay with them from then on. And my dad didn't even do anything, even though I begged and pleaded and cried for him to help me convince Mom otherwise. I never wanted to leave Grandma and Grandpa and all my friends at the neighbors' farms. The moment I moved to the city, I hated it. All the noise, the dirty air, and the rush of people irritated me. I had to go to the same school my sisters did, and even though they were popular and admired because they were models, everyone made fun of me. Whenever anyone asked if I was their sister, they'd deny it. And when somebody asked why I always get dropped off at school in the same car, they'd say it was 'cause my mom was their maid. The real problems started when I started making friends. Not with girls, but with the popular boys. I always had boys for friends, and guys like me, 'cause I could hang out with them and talk about the same things with them. I even started dating one of the guys. His name was Dan. I started hanging out more with Dan's friends. Unfortunately for me, the guys I started hanging out with were guys that my sisters liked, and they thought I was competing with them for the boys' attention. That's when they went on a campaign to humiliate me. Hi, boys. Hi, Gary. Oh, so sorry. Look who we have here, girls. It's Tawny. So sorry, girl. We totally thought you looked like Gassy Gary from math class. Yeah, sorries. Our bad. And then, just like that, my sisters waved the boys goodbye and began giggling in a fit as they walked away. Dan didn't mind all the teasing and bullying at first, but then it started to hurt his reputation at school, too. Suddenly, even his friends were making fun of him for dating me. Dan, if you're gay, you know you can tell us. Ha 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 ha. Not. I mean, it only makes sense, Dan. You're dating Tawny. She's basically a boy. Even her name sounds like a boy's name. Do you secretly hope one of us can be your boyfriend, Dan? And they'd laugh and poke more fun at him. All of that put a strain in our relationship. So much so that I began to feel guilty. I thought maybe if I just changed, even a little, Dan wouldn't resent me so much. That was why I asked my sisters for help when prom came around. My sisters had an entire closet just for their high-heeled shoes. I had one too, for sneakers. It was no secret I needed help in the makeup and dresses department. So I turned for help to the people I thought would have my back, my family. What do you mean you don't own a dress? How do you even intend to go to prom? Mom, Tani wants to go to prom in a pantsuit. My mom immediately materialized from the kitchen like a furious genie. What? Outrageous, Scott! Let her borrow one of your old dresses. I'm sure no one will notice. Does she even know how to wear one, Mom? I've worn skirts. But, do you even own a skirt? I didn't. And so I decided to let my guard down and let the professionals do the work. I closed my eyes and just dealt with whatever they wanted to put on me. And when I opened my eyes to look in the mirror, I screamed in horror. They made me wear pink. I hate pink. But my sisters congratulated themselves on the work they did. Oh, my God! You look amazing! Stunning! Gorgeous! Diva! Even our mom was, for once, pleased with what she saw. Look at our daughter, Henry! She's finally a lady! My dad looked at me for a second and just muttered an, and went back to watching the game. I blushed from the compliments they gave, but it also left a bitter taste in my mouth, as if I looked less great looking the way I look normally. Honestly, I had no desire to participate in their whole makeover nonsense. I just wanted to sit on the couch with my dad and watch the game with him. When Dan came to pick me up, his eyes grew wide with shock. He couldn't believe I dressed up for him, considering that the last time he asked me to dress up, I showed up in jeans. I figured I'd probably did something right. Dan walked with pride beside me that night. Until I won prom queen, and my younger sisters, especially Sky, erupted in anger. She called me a cheater in front of everyone. She said I rigged the vote and that I had always been jealous of how pretty and feminine they were and that I sabotaged Sky's win. That was when everyone finally found out I was their sister. But when Sky, Jordan, and Lisa began to pull my hair and ruin my dress, I couldn't just let them. I brawled with my 3 younger sisters, and guess who won? I emerged out of that fight like a hero. But everyone looked at me like the villain. Even Dan. He screamed at me. I hate you. You're... Ugh! I thought you'd changed. You're always getting me into trouble, and you're always causing a scene. Why can't you just be a normal girl? Why do you insist on being such a gross tomboy? Now everyone's calling me gay for dating a tomboy. Like, what the hell, Tawny? I'm done. We're done. I don't ever want to see you again. The school had to call our parents in. We disrupted a major event after all, and there were a few bruises here and there. Mom was beyond herself. She was hysterical. Why can't you just act more like the lady you're supposed to be, huh, Tawny? And then she turned to blaming my dad. You told me this was just a phase, that she's gonna grow out of it. And? Well, she should have grown out of it when she was 13 or 12. Why does she keep doing this to herself? Ugh! She'll never find a man. Jeez, Francis, chill. Just let her be. You are such an irresponsible father. I got suspended, and my sisters got off scot-free. I thanked the heavens for that. I wouldn't have been able to show my face at school. Dan's whole breakup with me was posted on social media, and it went viral. When it was happening, it felt like 10 seconds. But the entire video was about 5 minutes long. Dan went on about all my faults, all the trouble I'd caused him, all the things that disgusted him about me, all the bad things people said behind my back. I was embarrassed. Even after my suspension was lifted, I refused to go to school. But then, one night, I remembered what my grandma always told me. Ugly, hurtful words are just mud, and mud never hurt a girl. I recorded a video and uploaded it on YouTube. I made sure everyone knew the video was from me, the prom breakup tomboy. In that video, I talked about my struggle against my family's expectations, society's expectations, and my own expectations of myself. I talked about how I've always been the way I am, that I'm proud of how I am, because I never wanted to be a cookie-cutter image of what my mom wanted me to be. I talked about my grandma and my grandpa and the values they instilled in me. I talked about how I will never be the kind of girl who wears frilly dresses and high-heeled shoes, and that should be okay. No girl should ever be made to feel like they're less of a girl just because they don't like girly things. And then I ended the video with a message for my ex. Dan, I'm sorry I wasn't the kind of girl you wanted, and that's fine, because I love me. And there is a boy out there who will love me for who I am. And because the hype around that dumping video was still so high, my response video went viral as well. It got shared so many times, even more times than the viral dumping video. I was just happy I got to share my story as well, and that the positive message I sent out there got seen by other girls out there who may be going through the same thing. The funny thing is, nobody wanted to date Dan after all that. Everybody hated on him for saying horrible things about me. And my sisters? Well, after seeing our brawl at prom gain 10 million views, the agency they worked for dropped them. They said models who acted like that was bad for PR. And me? Well, thanks to my viral video, I became a YouTube sensation. I rode the wave and created more videos about my life. I moved back with my grandparents, and every week I would post videos of our work at the farm or the trips Grandpa and I go on.